Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah, good morning. So last class we were discussing about why concurrency control is required and why we saw what are the three issues which are dealing with concurrency control. Uh, like we were discussing about what is called as a dirty read or a temporary read, what is trying to stop the updates or getting missed out. These are some of the issues that we were trying to see in the last class, and we took some examples to see how these tell us the need for concurrency control in the DBMS. Also, we saw why we next topic that we started discussing was why recovery was needed. So recovery is a very important technique that is required in DBMS, and that's required because when we have some kind of failures, the DBMS should immediately recover itself from that failure and be up and running at any point of time. So that is an important reason why recovery is actually required. And we also, towards the end of the class, we also discussed regarding what are the different types of failures that we can come across or we do come across when there is when we have a DBMS being used by multiple users. What are the different types of failures that are there? So I think that is where we stopped the class in the last class. So to continue with from there, and we continue with what we are continue with the next couple of concepts. Let us quickly start off. Are you all able to see my screen? Can anyone confirm that, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So today's class, we are going to learn about transaction in more detail, transaction and the system concepts. So these are the concepts that we'll be addressing. Under this, we will first be looking into what are the different transaction states and some of the additional operations. Okay. Then we'll be looking into, that's the first concept that we'll be learning. And then we will be looking into what is called as the system log. And then we'll also be trying to understand what do we mean by a commit point of a transaction. So these are three important concepts that we'll be trying to understand at this point of time. That's our that forms our next concept in this particular class. Okay. So first, let us take up what are transaction states and some additional operations that we will be dealing with respect to the transaction. All right. Now we have learned already actually what is a transaction. So transaction is nothing but an atomic. We have already seen that it is an atomic unit of work. When I say atomic unit of work means a couple of a particular task which cannot be further divided. It is an indivisible task. That is why you call it as an atomic unit of work. So how do we define transaction? We've already seen that. So transaction can be defined as an atomic unit of work, means something which cannot be further divided into smaller parts, right? So a transaction, it is an atomic unit of work. As I told you, either it should be completed in full or nothing should be done. That means a transaction, when we talk of a transaction, we saw a couple of examples in the last class like this. You have so many operations under this. All this together, you call it as one transaction. Right? Now, you cannot divide this into several parts. It is one full unit. That is why you call it as an atomic unit. Now, and a transaction is such that either you do all these operations you have to do, or you don't do any of them. Right? That is how you try to define a transaction. It is either done in completed in all its entirety. Entirety means you completely do execute the transaction in full, or you don't do any of the step. I gave you an example also in the last class that either you first do a debit some amount and then you have to credit. If you are not crediting, then you have to undo the debit as well. So debit and credit together, let us say, is called as one transaction. Suppose they form a part of one transaction. Then in that case, you have to do both the steps. You cannot say one step you have done, another step is not done. That is wrong. So either do both the steps or don't do anything of any of them. That is what you call a transaction as. All of you should be joining on time. Don't join late like this. This is online class. No, you don't have to go through all traffic jams and then come here to class. Is it not? Where you were giving me all reasons. Online or offline, you should be here at 8:30. That's all. I cannot keep admitting. Tell your friends. You have to be on time. Come what may. Have that basic discipline first of all. I will not admit anybody beyond 8:40. 10 minutes is too much of a time for online classes. You're all at home only, no? Can't you log in on time? So this is what you call it as a transaction. So it is an atomic unit of work that is either completed, that is you do all the steps, or you don't do any of them at all. Right. Now, why are we learning this again is we are going to see, we started off in the last class with respect to recovery techniques, right? For the purpose of recovery, the system should keep track of when the transaction starts, when it completes, either whether it is committing or whether it is aborting. All this, we have a particular module called as recovery manager. Now, the recovery manager has to keep track of all these following operations. Okay, keep track of what operations, when will the transaction start, when will the transaction terminate, whether the transaction is committing, that means whether the transaction is getting completed or not, whether it is getting aborted, whether it is getting failed, whether it is getting killed. So all these operations, the transaction has to take care of. The recovery manager has to take care of, because for the recovery purpose, all this information is required. For all the recovery purpose, these information are required. Now, in order to recovery manager, he has to keep track of the following operations. What are the operations that the recovery manager has to keep track of? Okay, the first operation he has to keep track of is, it is given in the form of begin transaction. Begin transaction means what? This will mark the beginning of the transaction execution. When does the execution? We have seen some stored procedures, right? We try to write it between begin and end. Correct? So begin transaction means it will mark the beginning of the transaction execution. Okay, so it marks the begin or the start. When does basically a transaction starts? That is what it is going to tell you. Next, read or write. This is another operation. What does this specify? Read or write means what? Basically, as the name indicates, this is going to specify the read or the write operation on the database items. Okay, that are executed as part of your transaction. So in the last class, we saw read item of X, write item of X. X is nothing but a particular item which you want to read or you want to write. Okay, so this read or write is going to specify whether these operations on the database items are executed as part of this transaction, right? Which item you are trying to read, which item you are trying to write, and so on. Next operation that we are talking of here is end transaction. End transaction. So this will specify that the read and the write in transaction operations are ended. Okay, it marks the end of a transaction execution, right? Whether it has ended or not, whether the transaction is completed or not. So here at this point of time, it is also necessary to check whether the changes introduced by the transaction is permanently applied to the database or not. That means once the transaction is ended, is the transaction committed or is the transaction aborted? Committed means what? You are trying to record the changes permanently in the database. If you are not committing, it may get aborted also. That aborted means what? The transaction may fail at some point of time. So what is happening? That also it is required that these changes also we need to keep track of. Okay. The next operation is commit transaction. What do we mean by commit transaction? It what to say? Indicates a successful end of the transaction. That means any changes that you have executed by the transaction is all permanently recorded into your database, and it cannot be undone. You cannot undo anything once you have committed. It gets permanently recorded in the database. That is what we have seen, no, in lab also we have seen that during SQL operations we keep writing, we keep executing commit. Commit means what? Whatever you are trying to create, whatever you are trying to insert into your table, it gets permanently recorded in the database. You can't undo them, right? So that is your commit. One more operation we have is roll back or abort. Roll back or abort. That means what? When do you abort the transaction? Or when do you say that when you kill the transaction? That means the transaction has ended unsuccessfully. It has not completed successfully. Something has gone wrong in between. The transaction has failed somewhere. It has not completed all its operations. So I told you that if a transaction does not complete all its operation, you have to undo the operations. That is what we say. We try to abort it. We try to kill. We will try to roll back the operations that has already been done. Okay, that is what you call it as a rollback or abort. That means this transaction has been unsuccessful. Then you may have to undo all the operations, right? So this is what is about transaction and additional operations. So far we have seen, we started with what exactly. I'll just give you a quick recap on this. So what we started off with, we said that what is a transaction? We said transaction is nothing but an atomic unit of work. Atomic unit means it is such a piece of code that you cannot break it into further into pieces. And a transaction will always have a couple of operations. A number of operations make up one particular transaction, right? And when you try to execute a transaction, you either execute all these operations or you don't execute any of them. Okay, if you say I'm executing a transaction, you have to execute all the steps that are there in that particular transaction. If something has happened, the transaction failed, system crashed, something happened and you are not able to proceed further, then you will have to undo. The system has to undo whatever has already been done. Okay, that is what you define transaction as. Now, why are we learning this here is because for the purpose of recovery. Recovery means what? Some failure has occurred. So the system has to bring the DBMS back into its initial position. That means you have to undo some of the operation. That is what is called as recovery. You have to recover the system from the failure. right? So where for the purpose of recovery, the system has to keep track of when the transaction started, when the transaction terminated, whether it committed or aborted, whether it got killed, whether it failed in between. So what exactly happened before the transaction completed or before the transaction failed. All this information is kept track of by the recovery manager. So what are the information there in specific? If you see, what does the recovery manager should keep track of which of the operations? So the recovery manager should keep track of begin transaction, which indicates when the transaction has executed or when the transaction has begun. Then the read or the write operations. These specify the read or the write operation on the database item that are executed. Which item you have it is read, which item is written. All this operation has to be taken care of. Then comes the end transaction. End specifies read and the write transaction operations have ended and it marks the end of the transaction execution. So if the transaction has ended successfully, then the changes has to be permanently recorded in the system. Otherwise, the transaction will get aborted. Next, you have commit transaction. Commit always indicates that the transaction has been successful. Any changes that you have made as part of your transaction can be safely committed to the database and it will not be undone. And then we have rollback or abort. So this indicates that the transaction has ended unsuccessfully. So that means any changes that you have made to the transaction will not be applied at all. And you have to undo all the operations that you have done so far. So these are the additional operations that the recovery manager has to keep track of so that the system is able to recover it from the failures whenever there is going to be some kind of failure. Any questions, doubts up to this point? Any doubt?
Ma'am, can you explain that commit transaction, ma'am, once again?
Commit transaction. See, in your lab also in SQL, whenever we try to do some insertion, we try to create table, we keep writing commit, is it not? Commit means whatever transaction. Now, creation is a transaction. Let us say insertion, you are trying to put in some queries, you have some records. You want to save that those records permanently in the database. I have created an employee table. I have put in some records into that particular table. Now I want those records to be permanently stored in my database. That is why I write the commit instruction. When I write this commit instruction, commit transaction, what will happen? It means that my transaction has ended successfully. So that means any changes that I have made as part of my transaction, I would have debited, I would have credited, whatever operations I have made is all committed to the database, means they will be permanently recorded in the database. And you cannot undo those operations once again. You have already stored it permanently. You have committed it. So you cannot undo those operations. That is what is meant by commit transaction. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Any other questions? Any doubts so far? Right. So let us move forward. Let me change, go to the next page. Now, we are going to see what is called as a state transition diagram. Okay, which indicates the different states of a transaction. Okay, what are the states that a particular transaction undergoes, right? Now, first step we said that is we are trying to tell that it is a begin transaction. So that signals the beginning of a transaction, begin transaction. I'll write down and then I will explain it. then it goes into the partially committed, abort, can also fail, can commit. Okay, see now this figure shows a state transition diagram. State transition diagram means what? Any particular transaction will always be in any one of the state. It will always be in a certain state. For example, you would have learned this in case of what example? Process, right? You would have learned about process state transition diagram of a process. Okay, that means a process will always be in any of the state. Either it is in the idle state, it is in the running state, it is in the waiting state, it is in the terminated state, something like that, right? So a process is also said to be in one of the state all the time. In some particular state, it will be there, right? So similarly, a transaction will also have a state transition diagram which describes how a transaction moves through its execution states. That means when a transaction begins its execution till the time it terminates, what are all the different states that a transaction undergoes? That is what we are trying to show here in a state transition diagram. Transition means what? Change from one state to another state is what you call it as transition. So state transition diagram, here it shows that how is your transaction going to change from one particular state to another particular state, right? Now, if you look here, transaction will always, you are trying to, first is what you are going to begin the transaction. That is the first step for any transaction to start its execution. It will go into the active state immediately. That means, see here, it goes into the active state. So immediately after it starts the execution, it gets into the active state. Active state means what? It can issue read and write operations. That's why I have shown it like this. It is a cycle. There can be so many reads, there can be so many writes. So it will start issuing read and write operations or read and write signals when it is in the active state. So it will try to execute all the read and write operations in its while it is in the active state. Okay. Now, when the transaction ends, so once all the operations are executed, the transaction has to end. Correct? So when the transaction ends, it moves to the partially committed state. It moves to the partially committed state. Now, at this point, the recovery protocols or the recovery manager is there, no? He has to ensure that the system failure will not be resulting in any kind of inconsistent situations. That means when the transaction ends, it moves into a partially committed. So you have to check whether all the operations have been executed successfully or not. It has to be checked. Once this check is over, or once the check is successful, transaction is said to have reached its commit point, and then it enters the committed state. Once you finish checking and you think things are all they're all executed successfully, there is nothing that has gone wrong in the transaction, that means it will enter into the committed state. Once the transaction is committed, it has concluded its execution successfully, so it will come to the terminated state. Transaction is committed means what? It has concluded its execution successfully. All the changes will be recorded permanently in the database. As I told you previously, now you cannot undo anything at this point of time. Right? This is one path, okay, wherein it starts the transaction with begin transaction, it gets into the active state. In the active state, it is going to accept the read and the write operations. All these operations will get executed while it is in the active state. So once all the operations are executed, it will end the transaction. So the transaction is getting completed. While it is getting completed, once it is done, it will move into the partially committed state. When it is in the partially committed state, the recovery module should ensure that all the operations have been executed successfully. If it has successfully executed all the operations, then it will move to the committed state. Once transaction is committed means what? That means it has concluded its execution successfully. That means all the changes that has been made to the database is recorded permanently in the database. Yeah, that is one part. Now, however, a transaction can also go into the failed state. See here. I told if once it comes to the partially committed state, the recovery module has to check. If everything is successful, then it will go to the committed state. If something has failed, right? If any check has failed, one of the check has failed, or if the transaction is aborted during its active state, it got aborted, something got crashed, right? Then it will come into the failed state. Transaction during its active state also it can get crashed, it can get failed. So that means it will get aborted. Then it will come to the failed state. Even when it is in the partially committed state, also it can get aborted and come to the failed state. Okay, so if any of the checks have failed or if the transaction is aborted during the active state, it can go to the failed state. So once it goes into the failed state, what will happen? Transaction will have to be rolled back because it has failed. As I told you, either you do all the operation or don't do any operations at all. Right? So now since the transaction has come into the failed state, it has to be rolled back. That means you have to undo the all the write operation. Read operation is okay, you are only reading it, it is not going to change the database. But whatever write operations has been done, all the write operations you will have to undo. So terminated state means what? The transaction is leaving the system. Everything is over and the transaction will leave the system. Right? So transaction information, that is, you are going to maintain some information in the system while the transaction is getting executed. In terms of system tables will be there wherein you are going to maintain the information about the transaction. So once the transaction is terminated, all those system files or tables will also be removed. What will happen to the failed or the aborted transaction? They will have to be restarted again. Either they'll get restarted automatically or it can be resubmitted again by the user as a new instruction, and then you can again restart the instruction or restart the transactions. So this is what happens when a particular transaction, before a transaction starts and it ends its execution. These are all the steps that a transaction undergoes before from the time it begins its execution to the time it is going to get complete. This is what you call it as a state transition diagram. Any doubts, anyone? Any questions at this point? Any doubts, anyone? Any questions? Anything that you didn't follow? See, these are all basic concepts of your transaction which you should really know very well, especially when you go for any placement and all. No, if any database related companies are coming, like Epsilon and all, it's very important. All these are basics. You should know the concept properly. Any doubts? Right. No questions at all, then I'll move forward. So we talked about our transaction states and additional operations. That's the first point that we discussed. Now let us move to the system log. Okay. So we'll move on to the system log. Okay. What is a log? We have to first understand what do we mean by a log. Any answer? What do we mean by a log?
Ma'am, saved all the logins.
Can you repeat?
Ma'am, saved all the logins, I think.
Same way all the logins, okay? Any other answer? Anyone else? Okay. Now, then we are talking of log. Log is always required to help us to recover from failures. To help to recover from failures. In order to recover from the failures, the system will maintain a log to keep track of all the transaction operations. To keep track of all the transaction operations that affects the values of any of the database items. Like for example, read item of X. So X is a database item which has been changed by the transaction. So all that will be maintained in the log. So that if there is going to be a failure, when there is a failure, what the DBMS should do, it should recover that system from failure. Is it not? It should see to it that the system starts running again. So it should start running again means there should be some kind of a backup should be there. Some information about all these transactions should be there. That is all maintained in the log. Okay. So in order to help to recover from the failures of the transaction, the system will maintain a log to keep track of all the operations of the transactions. Now, this log information is required in order to recover from the failures. Where is the log kept? Log is always kept on the disk. It is always stored on the disk. So it is not affected by any type of failure except that if there is a disk failure itself. If there is a major catastrophe, there is a major disk failure, then you will lose the log also. Otherwise, generally the log is kept on the disk so that it doesn't get affected by any other kind of errors or failures. And this log is always you are going to take a periodic backup. Is always taken and it is stored in the log. Log is always, it is periodically backed up. That means you are going to take some periodical backups and store it into the log so that you know like from some point of time what has happened. If you want to recover up to that point, if you want to roll back up to that point, then you can refer to the log and do the necessary operations. What are the different kind of entries? We call them as log records that are written to the log and action each time. Each time there is an action performed. Each time there is a operation that happens. It is stored as a log record. Log record is nothing but one of the entries in the log. How do you store the entries in the log? That is by means of your log records. And every log record will have a unique transaction ID. Every log record will have a unique transaction ID that gets automatically generated by the system in order to identify each of these transactions. So which transaction you are referring to, about which transaction you are trying to write an information, or you are trying to maintain a backup. So that is actually generated or determined by the unique transaction ID. So this unique transaction ID is automatically generated by the system whenever you are trying to take a backup to the system log. Okay. Now, what are the kind of entries that will happen in the log records? I said every entry in the log record will have a unique transaction ID in terms of T, right? That is indicated generally by T. What are the different entries you will have in the log records or in the system log? The first one is we will have start underscore transaction, comma T. This is how the entries will appear in your this one. This is how entries will appear in the log records or the system log. What does this indicate? It indicates that the transaction T. T means you are trying to uniquely identify a particular transaction. What time it was started. This particular whole thing, start transaction T, indicates that T has started the execution. T is what? It is a unique transaction ID which indicates a particular transaction. So this particular transaction has already started the execution that will get recorded in your log. Next kind of entry in your log will be write item T and then X, then you will have old value, comma. This is one kind of entry again in your log. What does this indicate now? So write item T, comma X, comma old value, comma new value. So this will indicate that transaction T, one particular transaction, that is identified by T, unique identifier of that transaction. So this transaction T has changed the value of this X. From the old value, it has changed it to the new value. That is what it indicates. What does this indicate? It indicates that a particular transaction T has changed the value of X. X is your database item. That means you want to write into that particular variable or read that particular item, whatever it is. So X. It has changed the value of X from the old value to the new value. It has changed. That is what it indicates. Then, next one. Read item read underscore item, comma, T, comma, X. This is another kind of entry in your log. What does this indicate? It indicates that transaction T has read the value of database item X. That means it has read the value of X. What is the value of X? T has read that value. Moment you read that value, it will get recorded in your system log. Right? Next is commit. Commit, comma, T. Okay. So this indicates what? The transaction T has completed successfully. That's why whenever you give commit in SQL lab also, I keep telling give commit always. Now and then frequently you have to keep giving commit. So commit means what? Transaction has committed successfully. And all the changes that it has made has got recorded permanently in your database. One important thing is what? You cannot undo any of the operations that you have already done. Once you commit, you cannot do anything. The next entry in your log is abort, comma, T. So this indicates what? The transaction T has been aborted. You have killed that particular transaction. It has got aborted because, why it has got aborted? Because the transaction has failed due to any reason. It has got failed. It has not successfully completed. That's why the transaction got failed, and so you have to abort it. Once you have to abort means you have to undo all the operations that has been done and restart that particular transaction. Either we can restart it automatically or it can be given as a new transaction once again by the user. Any of them can be done. But all this information will be stored in the system log. So if you have to abort, you can get to know when it was started, what were the operations that were done, whether it was committed or not. All this operation you will get to know so that it will be easy for us to undo or roll back all the operations. Okay. Any doubts, anyone? So system log, I was talking of system log. I will again give you a quick recap on what is system log. So as I said, system log will help you to recover from any kind of failures. If you want to recover from the failures, the system has to maintain a log. So log will do what? It will keep track of all the transaction operations that affects the values of the database items. This log is required to allow the recovery from failures. So what has happened before the transaction has failed? That information I will be able to get it from the log. Okay, and I also told you that the log is kept on the disk. Okay, so it is not affected by any kind of failure except for any failure as any other disk failure or any kind of catastrophe which occurs and everything is physically damaged. In that case only your log gets affected. Otherwise the log remains intact on the disk. Right? Next, I told you log is periodical backup is always taken for the log. Let us say every 10 minutes, every half an hour, you are going to take the backup and store it into the log. So what are the different types of entries or the log records that you are going to write into the log? That is what we have tried to show here. And whenever you try to make an entry into the log, every transaction will be uniquely identified by a transaction ID, which is automatically generated by the system. Right? So the first entry that gets kind of entry that will be there in the log is start transaction comma T. So that means what? The transaction, it indicates that the transaction T has started the execution. T refers to a particular transaction. Then next one we have seen here is write item T X old value, new value. That means the transaction T has changed the value of the database item X from the old value to the new value. It has made it is doing some write operation. Write means what? Old value will get replaced by the new value. Right? That it is done by the transaction and that gets recorded into the system log. Then you have read item T comma X. That means the transaction T has read the value of the database item X. Then we have commit. Commit means the transaction has successfully completed, and it ensures that all the changes that are made into the database is all permanent and you cannot undo any of the transactions. That is the meaning of commit. And then abort. So transaction can also fail. Okay, so if the transaction is failed, then the transaction should get aborted. That means whatever operations, read or write operations write operation basically has been done has to be undone. It should be rolled back. Right? Any questions still here? Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, good. Right. So we discussed about transaction states and additional properties. We discussed about system log. The third point is commit point of a transaction. Let's move to that. Commit point of a transaction. So when does a transaction reaches its commit point? When all the operations have been executed successfully. That is when it will reach, each transaction will reach something called as a commit point. It will reach a partially committed state during which the check is done whether all the transactions are successful or not. If everything is successful, then it will go into the commit state. So all the transaction operations have been recorded in the log and everything has been executed successfully. That is when every transaction will reach the commit point. Beyond the commit point, after this commit point, transaction is said to be committed. Transaction is said to be committed and it is permanently recorded in the database. It is permanently recorded. You cannot undo. Permanently it gets recorded into the database. The transaction will then write a commit record. This will also get recorded into your log, as I told you now previously, commit comma T. That means this gets recorded into the system log that this particular transaction T has been committed. Right? Now, if the system failure has occurred, then what will happen? We go back to the log and we search for all the transaction T. We go to up to this point, we will go. Start transaction, somewhere it would have got recorded, no? That this transaction has started. We go into the record, go up to this particular transaction, right? And you will not see this commit. If it has failed, I'm saying, if it has failed, you will not see this particular command in the log at all because it is not committed only. So you will have to go up to this point, go back in the log up to this point and start rolling back till this point. You have to roll back because so that you will undo all the operations that has been done. You start with this, right? That means I say that you are starting with this, correct? Once the transaction starts, what you do, this gets recorded into your log, transaction comma T. And then you do your read or write operations, you go on doing all that. You do a write operation, you do a read operation. All these are getting recorded into your log. Okay? Somewhere in the end, it will also record this particular statement. When will this get recorded in the log? When this transaction has been successfully completed. Only then this will get into the log. If it has failed, if the transaction has failed, what will happen? This will not come into the log at all. It will not come into the log. That means something has gone wrong somewhere. It has not finished successfully. So what you have to do? You have to undo or you have to roll back. Till which point? You will go back up to this point. This point. That is where you started the transaction. And whatever you have done after this, all these steps will have to be undone or it has to be rolled back. So go back up to this point and then we try to undo all this or rolled back or undo their effect on the database during that is what you call it as your recovery process. It has failed and it has stopped off somewhere. That is why you don't find this commit comma T in the log record. When you don't find this commit that means it has not successfully completed the transaction. Somewhere, some operations have been done, some may not have been done. Something has gone wrong. Debit has happened, credit has not happened. So you cannot allow the debit also to happen then. You'll have to undo the debit. Right? So you'll go back up to this point, start transaction, undo or roll back everything that has been done. So the log file is always kept on the disk. Updating the disk file involves what? You try to copy one block of file, from the disk to the memory and update it accordingly. So as other files are getting updated, the log file will also get updated. Right? So that is about your commit point. Commit point is very important in any transaction. If it has reached this commit point, beyond that, you call that a transaction is set to be in the committed state. It is set to be in committed state. Right. Any doubts? Any questions?
Ma'am, is there is any a command to recovery that ma'am?
There is
any
also
command, ma'am?
something called as a rollback operation is there, which is always given to the privileged users or the admins. All of us will not have the rollback operation. Will not be given that rights. Access right will not be there.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next, we see a very important concept, which is called as the desirable properties of a transaction. What are the properties of a transaction? Now, transaction should always have several properties. Okay, they are called the acid properties of a transaction. These are again very, very important. Acid properties. A stands for atomicity. Okay. C stands for consistency. Right? I stands for isolation. D stands for durability. Okay. This is very important property. As I told, transactions should always have or possess some important properties. Now, these properties of a transaction, you call them as acid properties. What does acid stand for? A stands for atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. Right? So these four important properties is what we'll be dealing with next. Any questions still here? We'll be going into the details of these properties. It's maybe in the next class. Four of you all have not submitted your assignments at all. I'm telling you again and again. I know, I hope you all know who are the four. Well, I'm not going to tell. Charan is here. Charan is not there. He has not submitted assignment. Santosh has not submitted. Santosh is here. Yeah. Santosh, are you there? No, you are not submitted assignment. So you will lose 20 marks. Take it from me. Shashank, you are there? Shashank is there. Shashank is not there. One more, I don't remember. Four of you have not submitted. I don't remember. Manoj, I think. I don't know. You know who have submitted and not submitted. I don't have to keep record of yours and keep telling you all who has not submitted. It is your responsibility. You have not submitted, you will lose 20 marks. Don't ask me later. I have given more than a month's time. I cannot give more than that. It shows your irresponsibility. You all can't even join the class on time. Huh? Happily, you will come till 8:50, 9 o'clock. And we should keep admitting you. Is this offline class that for you can give that so many reasons for coming late? Online also you can't join on time? Whoever it is. Online or offline, you should be on time. That's all. Whichever line. It's a basic discipline that is required for any student. I'll mark all of you absent, whoever is coming late. You come for learning or simply come for just for the sake of attending? I don't understand. Ajay attendance Anaga. Anaga is absent. Abhilash,
Yes, ma'am.
Akhil,
Yes, ma'am.
Akrut.
Yes, ma'am.
Anaga is waiting there. I will not allow anyone now. They should have admitted. I have admitted everyone till 8:45. Tell them. Beyond that, I am not going to admit any of you. Online class also, you can't come on time means what is that? Don't come for the sake of attendance. Akrut,
Yes, ma'am.
Anusha,
Yes, ma'am.
Banu. Oh, sorry.
ma'am.
Aravind is not there. Arifullah? He has not come. Benakaraj? He has not come. Banu?
Yes, ma'am.
Bhargav?
Yes, ma'am.
Rahmatullah?
Yes, ma'am.
Chaitra?
Yes, ma'am.
Chandana? Charan? Darshan? Diksha?
Yes, ma'am.
Dakshayani?
Yes, ma'am.
Kishan? Harshit? Hema? Huma?
Present, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Jayan?
Present, ma'am.
Divya? Kaushik? Lakshmi?
Present, ma'am. Is there?
Lavanya? Manoj?
Yes, ma'am.
Manish? Mohit?
Yes, ma'am.
Naval? Navya?
Present, ma'am.
Nikhil?
Yes, ma'am.
Panindra?
Present, ma'am.
Pavan?
Yes, ma'am.
Pooja?
Present, ma'am.
Purnima?
Yes, ma'am.
Raman?
Present, ma'am.
Rashmi? Rupak?
Yes, ma'am.
Sai Kumar?
Present, ma'am.
Samir?
Present, ma'am.
Santosh?
Present, ma'am.
Shadab?
Present, ma'am.
Sharan?
Present, ma'am.
Shashank? Sheetal?
Present, ma'am.
Vani?
Present, ma'am.
Soumya?
Present, ma'am.
Spurti? Vishnu?
Present, ma'am.
Sugandhini? Sushma?
Present, ma'am.
Sushmita BS?
Present, ma'am.
Smita U?
Present, ma'am.
Deepta?
Present, ma'am.
Tripti?
Present, ma'am.
Shavina?
Present, ma'am.
Yeah, Sugandhini, Spurti, Rashmi, Shashank, Manish, Kaushik, Divya, Harshit, Charan, Chandana, Anaga, Aravind, Arifullah, Benaka, all are absent. Till 8:45, I have admitted all of you. You can go complain anywhere you want. I don't care. You should be here on time at 8:30, and that's all. I don't want any excuses from any of you. If you're going to come and tell me I was waiting outside, keep waiting. I will not allow you. Whoever admits you, I don't care. I will not admit. Take it from me. You have to be here at 8:30. Have some basic discipline. Yeah?
Manish is present, ma'am.
Manish, I don't see him here at all. I don't see him here. If you are appearing in the list, I will still consider. You are not there. Manish is not there. Too much it is, yeah. Here also you have reasons to tell. Offline also you come late. Online also you all come late. The reason is people allow you. No, that is a big mistake from our part. What do you think? Have some discipline at least. This will help you in the long way. I'm telling you. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.